Today's video is brought to you by the Seek a Strength stream of coaching. We coach athletes from a variety of different sports, from powerlifting, weightlifting, CrossFit, jiu-jitsu, judo, wrestling, soccer, speed kayaking, rugby, all the way to even special forces. So we have a variety of different athletes. Myself and Fitz have a limited number of athletes, but due to the nature of expanding some of our staff, you may have met or encountered Sarah. You will know that we've got some extra time and we're able to take on some more athletes. We take on a stable of athletes and we don't go over a certain number between us. Make sure everyone gets a good service and you get a high quality product. So that is why I am bringing this to you today. So we're encouraging people to check out our service if you're thinking about it, because we'd be more than happy to take on some more athletes. Enjoy the video.
Okay, John Seller asks, thoughts on the French contrast method? I know you said that heavy lifting and fatiguing yourself before flyos is counterproductive, but some people seem to be swearing by it. So the French contrast method, from my vague and brief reading of it, seems to be the use of post-activation potentiation, doing a rep or two at quite heavy percentages. Then in a condensed rest period, you go and you do your plyometric work. That would certainly work, right? So you're using post-activation potentiation to artificially increase your productivity or artificially increase your abilities in plyometric movements. So an example of this would be squatting 80% of your 1RM for a single. Then within 15 seconds to 3 minutes, you would go and you would do max vertical jumps, right? So this works through a series of neuromuscular activations in the squat, which then when we transfer over to the jump, we're primed, as it were, for the jump. This also works because a single rep at a relatively high percentage of your 1RM isn't fatiguing. It's not going to produce a whole load of metabolic byproducts. It's not going to produce a load of lactic acid. It's not going to deplete a lot of glycogen. And also your plyometric work isn't necessarily a capacity event. It's just 1 or 2 attempts or 3 or 4 attempts at a certain thing. So that's kind of what you're seeing here. That's the theory behind that. Are there issues with it? Yes. So the use of post-activation potentiation would be the same way where we mightn't always want to use banded assisted jumps, which would get us a similar kind of outcome. Where we're jumping faster because we have assistance from a band, or we have assistance of a sprung floor, we have something along those lines. These are the kind of issues you're coming across. Do we necessarily want to be training using PAP all the time? No, we don't want to be training using assistance all the time. In the same way where sprint training down a slight hill will be very, very beneficial for our top end speed. Do we want to do it all the time? No. It's the same way. It'll be useful at certain times of the year. It won't be useful at other times of the year. So that's what I would say on the French contrast method. It could certainly have its uses at times, but don't get caught up in the fact that you think you're pre-fatiguing yourself or you're doing anything other than some kind of very, very basic post-activation potentiation work, which will allow you to jump higher, jump further, rebound faster and harder.